Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to episode 53 of Reynolds Reviews, and on today's episode, Viewers Q&A, Part 2. Cue the march. Welcome back, everybody. Now, like I said in the intro, we are going to do Part 2 of the Viewers Q&A. Now, I had such a good response last week, so many fantastic questions, I had to do it in 2 parts. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so question number 1 is another question from Chris Smith, better known as SmithLord1980. And Chris asks, Luke, you've got a very impressive helmet collection, but thinking about other fandoms, are there any other helmets you would like to see made, other than Marvel, etc.? Fantastic question, Chris. Absolutely. I think I used this answer for a different question last week, but there are still plenty of Star Wars helmets I'd love to see made. Shore Trooper, Snow Trooper just being a couple, Bush helmet, but I think I'd love to see the mask helmets made. I mean, can you imagine having 1.1 mask helmets? You know, Spectrum, Matt Tracker, you know, Miles Mayhem and Viper, Cliff Dagger, Sly Rax, you know, Bruce Sato. Imagine having all those helmets 1.1 scale. I think they would sell really well. So yeah, if it wasn't Star Wars, I would definitely love to see mask helmets made. So the next question is from Kat, better known as Vader's Girl. And Kat wants to know, Luke, if you had to give up everything in your collection except one thing, what would it be and why? It's a tough question, Kat. There's so many things in my collection that I wouldn't want to part with, but if I had to get rid of everything and only keep one thing, it would probably be my Stormtrooper armour. I wanted to be a Stormtrooper from 6 years old when I saw Return of the Jedi. Always wanted to be a Stormtrooper. That iconic armour, that frowned expression on the helmet, just something I always wanted to be. Managed to get myself some armour. It was a kit, it weren't ready to wear, so I had to do a lot of work myself. A lot of blood, sweat and tears went into it. I had to trim it all down, cut it all out, put it all together, paint it, put the helmet together, any decals. It took me almost 2 years to complete and get it ready to wear, so I'm very proud of it. And a lot of effort went into it. So yeah, if I had to keep anything, it would be my Stormtrooper armour, because I've always wanted to be a Stormtrooper, and even now at 41 years old when I put it on, I do feel like one. So yeah, that is what I would keep. Okay, so the next question is from Dave at Vintage Toy Rush, and Dave asks, Luke, what is your favourite piece in your collection, and do you have any other hobbies outside Star Wars? Good question, Dave. I've got lots of pieces in my collection that I kind of look at and think that it could be my favourite, but if I had to pick any, I suppose it's quite obvious. It took me a long time to acquire it, so I would have to say my 1978 Star Wars Original 12 mail-away display stand. It is something that I chased for a long time, and although there are other pieces in my collection that would be right up there, I've got to say that it's got pride of place in my room. I love looking at it. It's just an unbelievable piece that I've wanted for a long time. Do I have any hobbies outside Star Wars? Absolutely. A fairly standard one is I'm a keen footballer. I am part of the veterans football scene locally, yes, even at my age. Maybe not quite so standard. I'm also a very keen snowboarder. I've been doing it for around 10 years. It's something I do with my brother and a couple of friends. We try and get away as often as possible, and when we can't get away, we try and get to the Snowdome in Castleford as much as possible. We haven't been for quite a while due to the pandemic, but yeah, absolutely love snowboarding. I would recommend it to anybody. It is a fantastic pastime, and just another escape. It's fantastic. I recommend it to anybody. So yeah, outside of Star Wars, I love my football and snowboarding. Okay, so the next question is from the guys at holochronicles, and they want to know, Luke, if you can only collect one thing when it comes to Star Wars, e.g. vintage collection, posters, Black Series, etc., what would it be? Fairly easy one, that, guys. I mean, I've never really sort of looked at things like posters and Sideshow. They're just too expensive for me. I do collect a few bits of Black Series, but my main focus is vintage. That's where the nostalgic element is for me. It reminds me of my childhood. I'm closing in on a full run. I've got to hit the last 17, which I'm a little bit worried about. I know that's where the money's going to come. But yeah, without a doubt, vintage, that is where my passion lies. Just that nostalgic feeling that it gives me when I look at them. Reminds me of my childhood and really happy times. So yeah, if I could only pick one, it would definitely be vintage. Okay, so the next question is from a guy you might have heard of. The next question is from Mike at Usual Mike TV, and Mike wants to know, Luke, what is the hardest thing you find about YouTube? Ideas, editing, etc. Well, you've just said two things there, Mike, that I probably would have said even if you hadn't put them in the question. I do worry about running out of ideas. I often have a list of ideas, but it really consists of 9 or 10 at any one time. And because I do everything on my iPhone, I do worry about the lack of editing that I've got to, to apply to my videos. I don't find it difficult to do, but I do worry about the lack of options that I've got when it comes to editing. I look at other guys' videos on YouTube, people like Dave at Vintage Toy Rush, Tez at Roland's Reviews, and although I'm sure they're very humble about their videos and say they do nothing special, I think they do some fantastic stuff when it comes to editing. So the hardest thing is not to worry about the quality of my content. It is something I worry about a lot. Are people going to get bored of it? Do they find it very samey? I do find it hard not to worry about the quality of what I'm putting out. So that would probably be the hardest thing for me. Okay, so the next question is from Christian, better known as C. Moles. And Christian asks, Luke, do you find yourself influenced by other collectors and their collections? And have you picked anything up that 12 months ago you wouldn't have considered? Absolutely yes, Christian. I'm not influenced by other collectors, obviously with anything negative. If other collectors think I should be collecting a different way or doing something differently, I don't listen to them. I'm very, very focused and clear on how I want to collect and what I want to collect. Am I influenced in a good way, as in, have I picked anything up that I've seen other collectors with? Absolutely, yes. I've got a shelf full of Transformers next to me. I've always loved Transformers, but never really considered collecting them for some reason. And then I watched Tez on the Palaboys one week, quite early on. I remember seeing some Transformers behind him. He showed one, I think it was Wheeljack, the reissue Wheeljack one week, and everything just came flooding back. And that weekend, I think I picked up 2 or 3 G1 reissues. I've now got a shelf full. I will get some more. So I often see things from other collectors that stir that nostalgia in me and make me want to buy other things. I see them display certain things that I might already have that I've not done, and so I display them in a very similar way. So I'm always influenced by other collectors. Have I picked up anything in the last 12 months that I wouldn't have considered before that? Absolutely yes. I think I've just done a video actually. 12 months ago I would never have considered picking up vintage card backs. Something about displaying things that are damaged just didn't appeal, and in the last 12 months I've watched other people's videos and just done a full U-turn, probably mostly watching Yorkie Bespin's videos. Now my card backs are nothing in his league, but they just became more and more appealing to the point now where I've started picking them up. So am I influenced by other collectors and their collections? Absolutely yes. So the next question is actually another question from Christian, and Christian asks, Luke, if you could go back in time in the DeLorean to before you started your channel, what advice would you give yourself? Well, I'd give myself 2 pieces of advice really. The first piece of advice I would give myself is try not to take anything personal when it comes to my channel. Obviously, we're always going to get certain negative comments and things like that. And early on, I did take it quite personal, to the point where only a couple of months in, I almost stopped. And it was Rachel that convinced me not to. So I do take things to heart because I'm quite precious about my collection and my channel, and because I love the things that I show so much. If I get anything negative, I do take it to heart. And take it quite personal. So that is the first bit of advice I give myself. The second bit is try not to be so hard on myself. I am extremely self-critical. I watch my videos back before I put them out all the time, and there are always things that I don't like. To the point where I reconsider doing them. I've finished the editing, the video's ready to go, and I almost reconsider doing them a lot. I am extremely self-critical and worry about my content a hell of a lot. So, when I get nice compliments, it feels really good to, to know that some people are out there enjoying what I'm doing, because I do doubt myself a lot. I'm no filmmaker, so when I do these videos, I do worry about them. So, the 2 pieces of advice I would give myself is try not to take things personal and try not to be so self-critical. And what viewers Q&A would be complete without a question from our very own fearless leader, Darth Mark. And Mark wants to know, what is Rachel's phone number? Well, you know what, Mark? I don't see you getting it, because why have cotton when you've got silk? But let's go ask her. All right, Han. Thought I told you to stop hanging around here. Rach.
What?
I've got a YouTube Q&A question for you.
Star Wars YouTube.
Mark wants to know your phone number.
Which Mark?
Blue Harvest Mark.
Oh, really?
What are you wearing?
Yeah, shush you. Hi, Mark. It's 077.
Wait a minute.
36.
So there we go, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by and giving me a shot. I hope you consider liking and subscribing. If you're an existing viewer and subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. Leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. I might make this a regular thing, maybe every couple of months. It has been suggested to me. Jump in the comments and let me know what you think. Do you think it's worth doing, or do you think it would run its course quite quickly? I'm interested to know other people's thoughts. But I always read everyone's comments and get back to everybody. And as always, keep collecting, and I'll see you next time.